Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm finally here. And how's everybody doing this morning? I had an eye doctor's appointment that I forgot about. So I'm still kind of doe in the headlights with the big old pupils. Um, I can see the lights making my eyes water, but we'll make it through. And Bernadette's running around in the background. Howard's angry because I made him move from my chair, with the one I'm sitting in, to his chair, the one that's covered with cat hair. But anyway, is everybody ready for this week's stitch? I hope you don't mind that we missed a week. I might get tricky and give us another stitch at the beginning of next week, just so we kind of caught up. So this week's stitch is called the Forest Stitch, and it's brought to you by Knotty Crochet. And the link for the stitch is down below. Could not find a left-hand version, but I did not look real hard. So if you want to look and see if you can locate one for those that are left-handed, I'll show you what the stitch looks like. Right here is our stitch. This section here. I have, after I did, I think 3 rows in the actual stitch. Hi, Peg. I did do a row of single crochet to make, I do that to check my stitch count to see if I've lost or gained a stitch. So I'm back at my 132. The actual forest stitch is worked in an uneven number, so you may have to lose a stitch on this row, but then you can gain it back in your single crochet row. Does that make sense? I know it creates kind of a wavy background, but that's the only way I can think to do these stitches. Notes about the stitch: you start each row with a chain 2. The actual stitches, when you watch the tutorial, you'll see that you are not working in the row just below the one. You're not working in the previous row. You're working in the row that falls below it. So instead of putting your stitches into the row that you just finished, your stitches go down into the other. That's why you have to, when you're doing these stitches where you're working rows below, make sure you are making your stitches elongated. Be a little bit looser. Don't try to draw it down tight to your stitches. It won't work. You have to have the elongated stitches to be able to reach down to the row below what you just did and to the height of your next row. So she's really good about showing you exactly where you're going to put your hook. This one does take a little concentration because you are working basically 2 rows below. You skip your row you just finished, and then you go to the row below that. And you're working in the spaces between the previous shells, V-stitches, whatever you want to call them. So that's this week's stitch. Hi, Janet Nash. So I've been seeing everybody's pictures. My next color, I'm going to use green because I thought it would be, I want to get some brightness back to it. I feel like it went a little kind of blah here. And I think I'm going to have to go thrifting to get some different colors to keep the colorfulness of this going. But for anybody that, we've been doing this now, this is episode 15. And I can't remember how many stitches we're at. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is our 15th stitch. And yeah, you can see how mine is kind of wavy, but I think if we do a wavy border, and that's my plan, we're going to add a wavy border. When this gets long enough, I was thinking, let's plan on this being kind of a lap afghan. So when this reaches the same length a long ways as we have our width, then we'll do our border and we'll call it that. I was really kind of aiming this to be like a sit on the TV, just throw over your lap type quilt, or not quilt, but afghan, or to ride in the car. So I don't want it to get absolutely huge, huge. So I was going to measure this. Let me stand up, and I'm going to measure my width, and we'll see how many more stitches we can do. That way I can tell you guys how big mine is. Hi, Gail. Hi, Janet Nash. Hi, Beth. So I'm going to put you down here so you can see the blanket instead of me. And I'm just now getting my second cup of coffee, and I hate when I have eye exams. I don't know why I hate them so much, but this one was just a check to see. I do have some bleeding in my left eye that they're watching. So she wanted to check that. So they did. All right. So I need a measuring tape. Can't see anything, of course. There we go. Coming on here live when I can't see. I'm just going to kind of go by my widest point here. All right, my blanket is about 43 inches wide. So I'm going to try to do it 43 inches long. So I'm going to turn this. I'm really wonky on this side, bad. But I'm not going to worry about it. It's just for me to have to keep myself warm when I'm watching TV or stuff. Okay, I'm already at about 31 inches. So we need about 12 more inches. So I'm thinking we can get about 6 more different stitches on here. So 43 inches square, and then maybe we'll put, what do you think, a 4 or a 6 border in? Maybe a 5-inch border. I'll think about that. We've got time. So I really am enjoying seeing everybody's work. Janet, you posted a picture of your, is that your neighbor that's doing it with us? Leslie, you posted Leslie's blanket. Oh my gosh. Leslie was very conscientious. So all of the right sides of her stitches are on the right side. And I'm telling you what, I might do this again on my own and do the same blanket, but make sure all the stitches are on the right side. Because you can look at mine and see that some are on the right side, some are on the wrong side. And then if you flip my blanket over, you get a whole different picture because, again, some are right, some are wrong. She lives just down the road. Well, she's doing an amazing job. Man, I'm really got wide up here. That's where blocking comes in. Get it wet and stretch everything and pin it and block it and try to get it sorted. But this side, I think, has more right sides than the other one. But I love the bar stitch. I love the bobble stitch. And I love that the bobble stitch was worked from the back, which was really interesting. I really like that a lot. And if you haven't seen Janet Nash's baubles, she did each of her baubles a different color. And I did share under the video for this stitch, there are 2 videos, and one shows you how to switch the colors out. So if you wanted to have a base color and then all of your dots be a color, or if you want each dot to be a different color, you can. You just have to follow her video there. But I love to feel this blanket. It's got all these different textures. And I think if you have a family member that's having to reside in a nursing home, that they would really enjoy this because it's very tactile. You guys, I'm having trouble reading chat because my eyes are dilated to the moon. Let's see if I can. All right. Gail, the bleeding in my eye is caused from the diabetes, and she said the spot is actually smaller than my last scan. So, and I do have enlarged nerve endings, I think behind my right eye, that they are watching too. But I'm trying to get everything under control again. With the birthdays and everything and all the additional cake, my blood sugar went a little off the rails, but I'm trying very hard to get it down. Um, our nurse practitioner put Scott on a medication that makes digestion slow down, so he's not hungry all the time. So I don't have to have so much food around all the time. But I need to start back to walking and stuff. It's been too windy to walk because the pollen is all in the air, and when it's windy, it goes right up your nose and in your eyes. I just been struggling with itchy eyes all week. So, and I was told that even a weight loss of 10% could get you a reduction in medications. So I'm going to push for that. If I can lose 10% of my weight by my next appointment, which is in May, I don't know if I can do 10% by then because I want to do it healthy so it'll last. But yeah, I got to lay off the candy. At Easter, it's really hard because it's the only time Russell Stover's comes out with those maple eggs. And oh my God, I love those things. I so look forward to those maple candies. If you've never had one, you should try it. Yes, lots of water. Yes, that's another thing. Oh, Gail, that's awesome. Well, Scott, since he started this new medication, he's lost like 10 pounds. And yeah, I'm really bad about the water intake. That is something I have got to focus on. Oh, I just love maple flavor. It reminds me of my life in New York, the good parts of my life in New York. We had a sap house on the farm, and here, let me talk to y'all. Not there. There we go. Yeah, we had a maple house, and the last time Scott and I went up for one of my class reunions, we walked out to the woods to see the sap house, and they'd been tearing it down basically and reusing the cinder blocks, which kind of made me sad. But they'd cut all the maple trees and sold them to somebody that did specialty woodwork stuff. So there was no maple trees in the woods anymore, and it was just kind of depressing. But I still love. My grandmother would make spreadable maple sugar. She would cook at the sap house. It's clarified and purified with butter. That's how they get the clarification is done with butter and heat. And then the skimmings, where they skim off the impurities and the butter bits and stuff, they put all of that into a like old ice cream container bucket. And they'd bring them in, and Grandma would put that on another pan out in a corner of the woodshed. She had like a burner, and she had a large metal pan, and she put the skimmings in that and reduce them more and re-skim them again. So all of the impurities were gone. And then she'd let that cook to a soft candy stage and then pour it into a jar, let it set. And then the next day you could spread that stuff on toast. Oh my God, that was so good. So sweet. So sweet. But we never made the maple leaf shaped, the harder candy stuff. Grandma always just made the spreadable stuff. And let's see. Really having trouble reading the stuff. Bernadette, what you doing? Gatorade Zero. Ooh, that might help Scott. Scott's been having bad leg cramps. And I bought bananas and they didn't last very long. Have you all noticed the shelf life on the fruit is like so minimal? If you don't like wolf down your fruit, So I try not to buy a lot of fruit because too much fruit will raise your sugar. So yeah. Anyhow, for anybody that didn't see the pictures, two of my sisters, I have three sisters, but the two that live near me were all ours, Rebecca, Robin, and Rhonda. We went out to dinner last night at a place called Mama Rabbit's Nibbles and Sips. And I thought it was going to be vegetarian, but there was chicken on my salad. But I'm sure there's things on there that you could just tell them hold the chicken if you wanted it to make it vegetarian. But I got the it was called a Thai salad, and it had peanuts and the ginger dressing. It was delicious, absolutely delicious. And then in the same little shopping strip, there's a place that my sister Rhonda has gone and gone. She shows pictures of it all the time. And that was really our goal stop for dessert. We had dessert planned, and then we just looked for a restaurant in that same area that we would like to try as a girls' night. And we both would have liked, Robin and I were looking at the adult beverages, and there was a couple very interesting sounding ones, but we were both driving. So we said water, just water. So we might go again and drag our husbands to be designated drivers. And but then we went to Vampire Penguin. And as we were going, my sisters, I didn't even notice this. My sisters go, "Where does that staircase go?" And there's like this staircase right next to Vampire Penguin, and it just goes down. And then there's a walkway that goes along so you can look off into the woods, and it goes absolutely nowhere. And then there's like offices down there. There's doors with windows, but most of those look like they were being used as storage. But I told them, I said, how cool would be to take one of these offices and turn it into an apartment. And you could come out here in the early morning with your cup of coffee and look out into the woods and just sit out here. How cool would that be? And then you could walk, if you got a job at one of the restaurants or H&R Block and there was a dentist in there. And get this, the little shopping strip where this all is called Macaulay Square. I thought that was funny. And there's another restaurant in there called Trevinia's, and we've gone there. And I think that's where we're planning to go for our anniversary in May. It's Italian, but it's the higher end Italian. So it's a little pricey, but it's so delicious. Let me see if I can read you guys again. Yeah, Sherry, that's going to be my problem because things like that, Gatorade Zero, and since we lost Bilos around here, on all we have is KJ's and Food Lions and Walmart. I don't like shopping at Walmart, never have. And then Food Lion and KJ's are the same thing. Same foods, same pricing, same. It's hard to find anything. I can go to Publix, but I have to drive over the bridge and into Columbia. And both of the Publix over there are real close to the University of South Carolina and University of South Carolina housing. So getting parking at the actual Publix stores is difficult because there's so many kids shopping, at Publix that the parking lot's always full. It's like you have to wait for a space, and when you come out, somebody's waiting for your space there because there's no parking. I might have to look for that, Peg, because that might be something that would help. I think it's the statin drug that the nurse practitioner put us both on, Astrovastine, is causing additional leg cramps, but I'm not sure. This is turning into a longer than I usually do for these stitches. So anyway, that's the stitch. It's called the Forest Stitch. And I guess I'll sign off. And I want to be available for when Barb Owen goes live today. I'm so thrilled Barb's back. Barb, if you're watching, I'm glad you're back. So yeah, let me know how it goes out. And I might look up another stitch, and it's going to be in this frog green. It's all I can think of, frog green. This is what I made the little Grinch out of that I crocheted. I want to do some more of the amigurumi, I think is how you say amigurumi, the little crocheted critters. I want to do more of those. So I'm going to let you guys go. And I will see you later at Barb's, if not somewhere else. And everybody have a great weekend. Bye, guys.